Yo, it's been a while, hasn't it? I talked about it in my last video, but if you don't already know, my world kinda got flipped upside down recently. But I took some time off, had a mini hero's journey, and I'm feeling a lot better. I still got my own problems, of course, but I'm taking them on one at a time. And the one that's been top of mind for me lately is how much I overthink things, and how my overthinking gets in the way of my own happiness. Tell me if this sounds familiar. After a long day of working or studying, you finally carve out some time to relax. You sit down, boot up your console or PC, and then you freeze. Not because your system crashed, but because you're stuck in this loop of scrolling through your games, trying to find something to play. You want to make sure you pick the right game, one that'll hit for how you're feeling right now. But the longer you scroll, the harder it gets to decide. Should you jump into a new game or just stick to something familiar? What if it's boring? Or what if it's too long? What if it's not fun? You start reading posts on Reddit, scrolling through comments, looking for a good suggestion, and before you know it, half an hour has gone by, maybe more, and you still haven't picked a game. It's like you're stuck in this situation where you're exhausting yourself trying to find a game when it's supposed to be a time of de-stressing. What's crazy is that it's not just the game you're missing out on, but also the simple joy of playing. Because, that's why we play games in the first place. It's easy to overthink choices like this, especially when you have limited time. You want to get the most out of that hour or two that you have, so picking the perfect game feels like it's worth all that careful thought. But the irony is, the more you overthink it, the more pressure you put on yourself, and the more time you waste. You're not optimizing your experience, you're dragging it down. And by the time you finally make a decision of what game to play, your expectations are so high that any game you pick ends up being disappointing. Your fear of wasting time has made you waste your time. So then you crawl back into bed, defeated, and doom scroll until you fall asleep. I had this exact experience not too long ago, and I was asking myself, damn, was I always like this? I don't think so. When I was a kid, I would just pick a game and jump right in. I didn't have that pressure to pick the perfect game because I didn't really have that many games in the first place. The only games I had were the ones I got for my birthday the year before and ones I rented at Blockbuster for the weekend. Maybe it wasn't the perfect game for the moment, but I was playing, I was engaged, and I was having fun. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about all the possibilities. I just made a choice and went with it. And because I wasn't stuck in a decision loop, I actually got to enjoy myself. I wasn't thinking about whether another game would be better. I was just in the moment. And what's even more interesting is that back then, I'd often end up finding something to appreciate about the games I played, even if it's not what I expected. Maybe the story turned out to be off the rails, or maybe it got introduced to a game mechanic that I've never experienced before. The key is, I wasn't obsessing over the outcome. I found value in the experience itself. And that's really what it comes down to. The happiest players aren't the ones who pick the right game, they're the ones who decide to enjoy the game that they picked. It's not about making the best choice, it's about making the most out of the choice you made. And the truth is, no game will ever be perfect. Some will be more fun than others, sure, but even a less than perfect game is better than wasting your time choosing and never playing at all. It's the same in life too. Whether it's choosing a game, a career path, or even what to eat for dinner, overthinking leads to the same frustrating result: wasted time and unnecessary stress. Instead of enjoying the process, we get stuck trying to predict the future, and in the end, we miss out on the actual experience. The happiest people aren't the ones who always make the right choices. They're the ones who make a decision and find joy in whatever comes next. So the next time you catch yourself endlessly scrolling through your game library, try this. Stop thinking so hard. Just pick something. Flip a coin or spin a wheel of game titles if you have to. You'll probably have more fun than you expect. And if you don't, well, at least you played something, and you can cross it off your list and move on. Because the real loss isn't choosing the wrong game, it's in never playing at all. Cool? Later.